Young men are breaking in silence. You see them every single day. We're diving straight into the cold, hard reality of ambitious men who feel entirely paralyzed. Right now, there's a quiet destruction happening, literally tearing down their potential from the inside out. You see them walking the streets, flawless academic records from the absolute best schools. They've got the resumes, right? They have the pedigree. The world fully expects them to conquer. But then, behind closed doors, the momentum just flatlines.
And yet, look closer. They have completely empty eyes. You can watch them endlessly scroll for advice on how to be better men, better partners, better fathers, but their daily lives? They stay trapped in the exact same loops. Day after day, absolutely nothing changes.
This is the silent breaking. 'Cause knowing the steps changes absolutely nothing. Intellects cannot defeat this barrier alone. They've read all the books, they know the theories. Still, the results stay small and the pain stays buried. Now understand this immediately. This is not laziness. This isn't weakness. This is a massive, invisible barrier shutting them down entirely.
So, what is locking the door from the inside? What looks like ordinary procrastination to the outside world is actually something much darker. It's anxiety. A quiet, invisible war, locking these men inside their own minds. Section 1. The Subconscious War, a battle for control.
Think of it like this. On one side, you have the old self-image. It sits like a guard at the gate. This identity was built years ago, formed from childhood wounds, unmet needs, and repeated failures. It feels safe, you know? It feels entirely familiar. On the other side is the new self-image, that ambitious vision of who they actually want to become. But here is the terrifying reality. Any new idea that tries to enter immediately triggers alarms. The mind literally treats growth as a deadly threat to the old identity's survival. So anxiety rises, doubt floods in, the body tightens. The subconscious mind is brutally fighting to keep that old self alive.
This is the ancient psychological cycle sabotaging your future. Step 1. The conscious mind accepts a new idea. Step 2. It must be pressed into the subconscious because that's where real, permanent power lives. Then, Step 3. Friction and anxiety erupt. The old and new self-image just cannot occupy the same space. It's a territorial war inside your head. And finally, Step 4. Retreat. The project is canceled. Excuses magically appear. The old identity wins. But here is the critical shift in understanding. Anxiety is merely friction between competing identities. It's not a stop sign. It is the exact, necessary marker that psychological change is actually beginning. Section 2. Joseph Campbell's Cave, the Warning.
The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. Joseph Campbell's words were never meant to be decorative. They're a literal map to human transformation. Picture this cave. The darkness inside is the anxiety itself. The fear you feel right at the entrance is entirely real. But the treasure waiting in the dark is also real. Failing to enter guarantees that treasure remains permanently hidden. The silent pain just becomes the background music of your entire life. You will never know what you could have become.
Section 3. The Price of Retreat, Escalating Consequences.
These silent struggles, they don't stay silent forever. The threat level is rising rapidly. On day 1, daily life just stays small. Opportunities are clearly seen but completely avoided because anxiety spikes, so you play it safe. Months later, relationships suffer. Partners begin to feel the distance. Trust erodes because promises to yourself and to others are continually broken. Then, years later, the identity hardens. That limited, fearful self-image becomes your official story. A massive canyon opens up between who you could be and who you actually are. And that canyon is exactly where entire lives disappear.
Section 4. The 4 Counter Strategies. Reclaiming Power.
Reclaiming your power requires mandatory, militant application. Leverage completely belongs to the old self until you decide to take it back by force of repeated action. These 4 tactics we're about to cover, they are not gentle suggestions. They are the absolute counterforces necessary to destroy the old self-image and survive. Tactic 1. Face anxiety. You must take action despite the discomfort. Do not wait for the fear to leave. Finish the project even when intense unease rises in your chest. Make the hard phone call when your hands are literally shaking. Don't invent the excuse. Feel the sickness in your stomach and keep moving anyway. Every single completion is a strike. It directly destroys the old identity's grip and violently forces the new identity into existence.
Tactic 2. Daily self-examination. You've got to stop accepting every emotion as natural or justified. Brutally interrogate your anger. Trace that sudden frustration back to unmet needs from years earlier. When someone criticizes your work and you just want to scream, pause. Realize that rage is just a childhood block trying to protect a fragile ego. Now, this practice is deeply uncomfortable, for sure, but you must stop being a mystery to yourself.
Tactic 3. Admit you don't have everything figured out. Intellectual arrogance is exactly what sabotages highly ambitious men. Believing your self-knowledge is complete absolutely prevents any further transformation. Admitting incompleteness isn't a weakness, guys. It's the first required act of strength. It destroys the ego and creates the raw, desperate hunger for actual growth.
Tactic 4. Redirect emotion. Probe every strong emotion to its origin, and then weaponize it. Take that raw, chaotic force that wants to explode and deliberately aim it at the work that builds your new life. Artists do this by channeling deep personal pain into masterpieces. Elite athletes do this by transforming brutal aggression into absolute dominance on the field. You have to redirect your silent, agonizing struggles into forceful, aggressive action. Do not let the energy rot inside you. Use it as fuel.
Section 5. The final unresolved choice.
Path 1 is continued retreat. And the tragedy of this path is devastating. The young man stays small. He stays manageable. He absolutely refuses to advance while fear is present. So the gap between his potential and his reality just widens. The years simply vanish. The limitation becomes permanent. And the ghost of who he could have been, it haunts him forever.
Path 2 is partial effort. Some action is taken, but the emotional engagement is incredibly weak. You dip a toe in the water, but you refuse to actually swim. Because the intensity is lacking, the new imprint never sticks to the subconscious. Results improve slightly and then instantly plateau. You're trapped in a permanent, agonizing purgatory of almost. Almost successful, almost happy, almost free. Path 3. Full crossing. You walk forward while the fear still burns. You keep pressing the new idea into the subconscious with relentless, brutal force until the old identity is finally destroyed. The anxiety entirely loses its power. New actions become natural reflexes. You rewrite your reality and turn into someone the old identity wouldn't even recognize. This is complete psychological dominance.
The fear was the only lock. Think about the exact shape of your life today. Which path are you already walking?